Good evening to all of you. Yes, we had a wonderful first session. I think I was amazed by the quality of speakers and the content that we had. Anyway, I was asked to speak on the topic of innovation in education. I think there is no doubt that we all have to innovate. And there's no doubt that progressive schools have been innovating in this country. So before I start, I'd like to talk a little bit about my organization and about myself, so to give you a context of how we are using innovation in our schools. I don't come from the government background, so I don't have models like people have. So about us, we are a chain of preschools and schools. We are a chain of 375 schools in India and Nepal, across 24 states. And those are the facts. I mean, last of all, the last point, we have recently signed Chota Bheem as a brand ambassador, so that's why you're seeing him on the slide. So that's the growth chart. We've been growing rapidly. Education, fortunately, there's a huge demand for quality education, and we feel we have been able to scale up a quality organization without compromising on quality. At the same time, we have been able to reach out to a large number of students. 3 lakh children have studied from our schools, and Shamrock is a preschool and Shamford is the K-12 school chain. And Shamford was launched 4 years back, and today we have 15,000 children studying in our schools in Shamford. So that's the presence of where we are. So this would not have been possible without innovation. I did not have a strong brand to back me up. All we had was a wonderful curriculum, a lot of research, a lot of innovative work that we did. So I can just talk to you about the process that we followed, and maybe I hope it will help you create some innovation in your schools as well. A bit about myself: I did my after school, my education, my BE, MBA, just like the traditional, as the speakers were saying, the traditional safe route. My engineering and MBA are good students, so we are students who are why I was studying engineering. Did my MBA, again, like good student, then I realized that I need to come back. The unique thing is I studied in 12 schools, so that's given me a lot of exposure in my day-to-day work, because I studied in day school, boarding school, government school, private school, religious school, public school, language school, regular school, in India and abroad, boys school and a co-ed school. So the only thing I haven't studied is a girls' school, right? So I was working in US as well, and my mom had a few preschools in Delhi. So my boss actually asked me to go back to India, and I said, "Why? Are you firing me?" And he said, "No. The minute you talk about Shamrock and you stop talking about our company, your eyes light up, your face changes. I keep wondering, is this the same Amol that I was talking to 5 minutes ago?" So the passion for education is what brought me back. And I realized that not innovating is not an option now. Why do we all have to innovate? First of all, the changing needs of children. We're seeing children are changing rapidly. The world around them is changing. The world that they will be graduating to is changing. The society expects us to change. Newer technologies are coming. And if none of them makes your conscience feel like innovating, and you still feel that, oh, I've been teaching this way for 20 years, look at my results, there's increasing competition. There's competition for teachers, there's competition for schools. You have to break out of the status quo. So I think there is no question about not innovating. And so how do we innovate? We changed our word innovation in our organization to e-innovation. We call it the 6 E's. And I'll briefly talk about what are the 6 E's for you and evolve. First of all, you have to understand the status quo is no longer acceptable. You have to break out of the current mold. Be the change you want to see. Who said that?
Mahatma Gandhi.
Right, yeah, what education is doing. So, who has to evolve? Not the children. They are evolved. We're talking about how a 1-year-old can now open a tablet, can go on YouTube and search for whatever he wants to find, right? So who needs to change? Policymakers, administrators, school heads, teachers, parents, and we all need to question existing paradigms. ऐसा चलता आया था, this is how it's been, this is how it will continue. It's not going to change. The last 4 or 5 years, the amount of change that I have seen in education It has been amazing. And this rate of change is just going to increase. So we all have to question existing paradigms. There's talk going on of a flipped classroom. Can the child learn at home and do just problem solving in the classroom? Rather than the other way around, where we learn in the classroom and do problem solving at home, where we do our homework. So homework in the class and classwork in the home. So new models are coming up. So first thing is about, once you can think beyond existing paradigms, start experimenting. Experiment, I don't mean there has to be like a business plan. So as teachers, you might feel that the management should come up with some strategy to how do we, innovate? Do we put in some interactive whiteboards? Is that innovation? No. Experiment, and I mean more of micro experiments. Start the small experiments in your classroom, day-to-day basis, every lesson plan. Try little experiments. But before you experiment, keep the child at the heart of everything. That's what we have done at Shamrock and Shelford. We did not come with the traditional education degrees. I was not a PhD in education. But what I did was, what my team does is, we always keep the child at the heart of everything. So anything, whenever we have dilemma, should we do this, should we do that, we just say what's best for the child. And everything works around it. Everything works after that. So visualize the kind of future we are preparing them for. So here's the child, here's the future that they're going to enter. Now how do we address this? The current system of education is definitely not working. So don't be afraid to take risks. I think that's a change which everyone has to go along together. Principals have to agree, allow teachers to take risks. We have to allow our students to fail as well. Is failure an option? In the current system, no. But maybe we should try and be more open. We should be trying to experiment. So start with the micro experiments. Once you have success with the micro experiments, we should start showcasing these best practices. Again, as an organization, we have 375 schools. What we do is, there are best practices. We talk, we communicate. We have a Facebook kind of page between our schools. We all communicate very well. But again, at a school level also, you can start showcasing best practices as an organization as well. And I'm sure, all teachers want they want that, I have this time limitation, but they try to do a good job. They want that the maximum children should learn, but yet they feel the time pressure, syllabus, this is parents' expectation. There are limitations within which they work. So I'm sure it's best if you do research experiments, start working in your classroom, that should be spread towards the school. And then start building on those experiments, start building and get people more and more energized. And once we see success with these experiments, with these innovations, we start expanding, start sharing. Not now within your school, outside the school. So there are forums like these. There are forums like this where we all need to share, learn, and it's appreciable that you've all taken time out to learn. And this is how knowledge will expand. This is how innovation will start expanding and institutionalizing this innovation as well. Again, going back to our example, when we have best practices, we just don't give out a circular and say, okay, this is a better way of doing it. We use videos, we use photographs, we use online training, we use face-to-face trainings, we use multiple use of methods to try and expand what we have done. Then the next E is enhance. So once we've come up with a little experiment, it's grown bigger, we spread it out, is that enough? No. You have to constantly keep building that. So to do that, how do we do it in an institution? I can create a center of excellence in one location, but I have 375 locations. Each child studying in each of our schools deserves the same system, the same promise, the same quality that I have promised him. So I have to put in systems to monitor that. So we try and put measurable parameters. We call them key performance indicators. People on the business side don't know KPIs. So we so innovation is also now being institutionalized. Then we constantly evaluate it and constantly improve it. So the processes are excellent, so will the product be. So when we take care of the processes, we believe the products would be excellent as well. So after that, so this is what we use currently in our schools. I'll not go through it, since I was planning to it, but I think in the spirit of keeping with time, I'll stick with the agenda thing. So the core subjects are the dark orange ones in the middle. Then we have built a series of programs. And how are these programs come? Through learning, through observing, through seeing what is missing in the current system, seeing what children require, personality development, critical thinking. I'm sure after attending today's session, I'm going to add one more, which is going to be entrepreneurship as well. And if I'm invited next year, I will definitely have a modified version of this. And I was super excited on hearing entrepreneurship because it's something that I benefit by a lot. And I'm sure I would love our students to actually do this as well. So this has been our model that we have. So we have the learning environment, the curriculum, engaging teaching methods, and right at the center, the white space is the child. So all our decisions, our programs are kept with the child in mind. That has been the only reason for success. If 3 lakh children have studied from our schools, if 30,000 children are studying today in our schools, it is just because we have ensured that each of these children have grown and nurtured as they've gone through the corridors of Shamrock and Sheriford. So thank you very much for being patient listeners. I look forward to hearing from you. I've just given my Twitter handle in case you wish to communicate something back, some feedback, and thanks again.